Round of 12 is underway here on Bowl TV. Emil Williams Jr. here with you, Grant Houghton, Terry Bigham, Curtis Von Kruger, tournament staff, USBC Hall of Famer Tennille Milligan, Director of Operations here on tour, PWBA champion Kathy Wadka, and Kathy Kavicki. 4 players will advance to this evening's step ladder finals. Right now, after 24 games in the books, Missy Parkin, your leader, has led for the 3rd consecutive round at plus 695. That is where she stands currently. Fresh lane condition, 42 feet. 24.435 milliliters of oil. Kegel terrain and Kegel current. Shayna Ung is second at plus 584. Valerie Bercier is third at plus 411. And then essentially at that point, anything can happen. And really at plus 411. And that's kind of what we've seen. We haven't yet had an event where, at least in my opinion, the top player, wow, how about Giselle really breaking down a split. That's a good break. Really haven't had some undecided situations up in the top of the leaderboard. As Aspady gets a nice trip of the 9. We've had some pretty defined top spots for the most part. Haven't yet got to an event where all 4 spots of the stepladder finals could be up for grabs, and with 6 games to determine. By all accounts at this moment, again, and we've still got 6 games and plenty of frames left. Missy Parkin has established herself as the player to beat, certainly. Again, Parkin, Ung, Bercier, Stephanie Johnson is 4th at plus 371. Julia Bond is 5th at plus 343. Giselle Pass is 6th at plus 341. I think I meant to say Steph, 371. Tashina Saraus, who just amazing bowling earlier, went plus 276. She qualified 32nd last night. And now into the round of 12. I asked her what the difference was, and she showed me her thumb. And it had seen a few games, let's just say that. But she said because she really was unable to squeeze it, so she couldn't kind of squeeze and maybe get that little extra that she would maybe normally go to or use to get around it. She had to stay up the back of it a little bit more and just be soft. And she said that really helped her out today. So no matter what and where she finishes, Tashina certainly put on a display to get herself, again, from 32nd now to qualifying for the round of 12 in 7th place. Deandra Asbeatty, we are watching now, 8th at plus 328. Sandra Gungor with a very nice bounce back after a disappointing Queens performance, which came off a runner-up finish at the PWBA Lincoln Open. She is 9th. Danielle McEwen is 10th at plus 309. Clara Guerrero 11th at plus 283. And Jen Higgins 12th at plus 277. Ashley Galante just missed it. Nice spare for Asbeatty. She had a lot of fans here in attendance. Does D. Galante finished at plus 275. Jordan Richard, already a champion here. In 2019, she finished 14th at plus 270. Shannon O'Keefe just missed the round of 12 by 27 pins. She finishes at plus 250. Kelly Kulick, 16th at plus 237. Daphne Tan, 17th at plus 235. A very nice end to her run on the PWBA Tour. Again, Singapore will be heading back home after this event. Jody Westner, another cut made for Jody, plus 228. She finished 18th. Shannon Pluhowski, 19th at plus 225. Yue Finn, 20th at plus 219. All right, Poss with 3 in a row. All right, Bond has one kind of float through the mid lane just a little bit. She's got the 247 to deal with. Roll, nope. If you recall our conversation a little bit earlier, I mentioned that Shayna Ung, of course, made the show last year here along with Shannon O'Keefe. She was defeated by O'Keefe in the semifinals. So right now Shannon is the, or excuse me, Shayna, I beg your pardon, only remaining player of the 4 who did qualify for last year's stepladder finals. And again, a good eye towards making her second consecutive trip to the stepladder at this event. D takes care of the 3-6-10. $181 for Poss. I've seen a few scores under 200 to start here on our featured pairs. He gives another piece of equipment a look on the fill. Clean, solid, but grab 10. And Sorouse will finish with 191. All right, game 2 is coming up next. We'll have Missy Parkin and Jen Higgins. Sheena Ung and Clara Gonetto on 31 and 32. So we'll get a chance to see Missy Parkin. And, of course, based on the score, if you didn't see Missy throw a shot this week, obviously her score would dictate and let you know that she's had an obviously good look and eye on what's happening, certainly on the lanes. And perhaps more so than anyone other really than Shayna Ung. Early double. For Jen Higgins. Let's see, what time is it? We've got 4:25 Central Time, 5:25 on the East Coast. 3:25 Mountain. So we appreciate everyone tuning in, enjoying, hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon into your evening. Again, the step ladders will begin the finals at 5:30. 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Right here on Bowl TV. That's right, Mark. I made sure to put it in there this time. I do not want to leave out Mountain Time anymore. Oh. I've seen a lot of 8-pins this week. They could be troublesome, certainly. All right, Jen Higgins. Well, we talked about Jen and what she did in round number 2. Coming in this morning in 3rd place, qualified for the round of 12 as the number, qualified 12. Missy Parkin now at plus 733. After shooting 238 in game number 1, Shayna Unga at plus 573. Stephanie Johnson into 3rd at plus 397. Valerie Bercier is 4th at plus 392. Danielle McEwen is 5th at plus 358. Julia Bond is 6th at plus 334. Tashina Sorouse is 7th at plus 329. Giselle Poss is 8th at plus 322. Deandra Asbeatty is 9th at plus 312. Sandra Gongor is 10th at plus 305. Clara Guerrero is 11th at plus 297. Jen Higgins 12th at plus 293. And make that 5 in a row for Higgins. Couple of players, or excuse me, I see folks in the chat written on their respective players that they'd like to see. One is Stephanie Johnson. And Steph in some early trouble here in game 2. Several splits over on, I believe, 25 and 26. Actually 23 and 24, I believe. Stephanie, they're not bowling match play. So I think that's probably what you're referring to. As in, someone bowls 1 frame, then the next bowls 2, and so on. Like you'd see in a stepladder situation. Or a normal match play situation. Jen with the front 6 and can make a serious move here in game number 2. Again, just 6 games in the round of 12. Close call there for Shayna Ung, but she takes care of the 10 pin. Trouble here for Clara. Shot 240 on this pair a little bit earlier in the round of 32, and now a 2-8-10. Interesting that we've seen a few shots from various players. If you didn't leak it right a touch, ban the ultimate penalty so far here on this fresh lane pattern. Nice attempt. Fans in attendance, they've made their way to double-decker lanes. You'll see many of those fans during the stepladder finals, the way some of the bleachers will be set up. A few pairs to the left of the TV pair. Clara out. Let's see where Clara currently is. 11th at plus 297. The fans in attendance from Missy Park, and again the family is here. Husband Drew's, their son DJ. This week has been a little bit on the higher scoring side in comparison to recent years at this event. Open frame there for Shayna Ung. Thought she was going to miss one in the fourth, but did let one get away from her in the seventh. And Shayna will go and adjust some tape in the thumb hole. Tell you, that's one of those underrated things, I believe. When grip doesn't feel quite right, sometimes maybe you're in between tape at that moment. She came right back, grabbed her spare ball, and started doing some work. Get to the round of 12. You start to look at everyone's faces. You gotta get a beat on. You know, you don't know what they're thinking. Certainly, you may have an idea. You get to take a look at what's going on in the minds of these players as they look to make a move for many to the top 4. In this situation, if you're Missy, you obviously don't let up, because nothing is ever guaranteed. The 10 was falling, but he got a little extra help. He wanted to make sure that it was down. Player can get to 194. Well, after starting with the front 6, Jin left at 2-8-10, and then she's had a couple 8 counts. The old 6 count in the 9th, but has made the spares. But based on what we've seen from Jin, certainly she may have one more run left in her. So she's again, if you watched our interview with her last week, or excuse me, last night, and it's posted on the PWBA Facebook page. Big shot there for Parkin. All right, 5 in a row for Missy. But Jen had battled kidney infection months prior to the season. Couldn't bowl. Oh, some rare miscues from Shayna on. An open frame in the 10th, but for Higgins, again, who had been battling, couldn't bowl, couldn't do anything. And finally was able to, kind of get better, begin the process. Muscles were still weak. She pulled a muscle in Cleveland at the first event and had to withdraw. And, each week she's getting stronger and stronger. And this week certainly shows. Take a look at a different ball for Parkin on the fill. 223. Shayna battling right now. The thought's certainly mental after missing a couple of spares. Obviously, the last thing you want to do here is give away pins. She's in a good position, but keep the psyche in the proper place right now. Nice spare made by Julia Bond over on lane 26. Like the 2-4-10. All right, Elk takes care of the spare there. 2:05 for Shayna, and we're heading quickly to game number 3. All right, make a few changes, and I'll be right back with you. Certainly don't go too far. As coming up next in game number 3, we'll have Sandra Gongora and Stephanie Johnson on 29 and 30. And then Deandra Asbeatty and Julia Bond will be on 31 and 32. So come on back here in just a moment on Bowl TV. All right, folks. All right, mid to end game 3. And as many of you I can see already chatting about what is slowly developing here. Danielle McEwen always in the hunt, in the mix, chasing down the number. Trying to remember right now, and it must have been Cleveland. No, it wasn't Cleveland either. Maybe it was Lincoln. It was Lincoln, that's right. Where Danielle shot 220 in the final game of the round of 12. And that actually had forced Sherry Tan, I believe, to double in the 10th. But McEwen stuck around Sherry Tan by 1 in the final game to make the stepladder in Lincoln. And D-Mac kind of at it again here. Gongora. Sandra at plus 277. He's going 194, 172. Again, Steph falling out of the top 4 after shooting 163. Missy Parkin continuing to do her thing at plus 756. Big shot there for Johnson. Shayna Unga again at plus 578. Bercier 181, 196. I tell you, if anyone can begin to put together a couple of games. Right now, the players, and honestly, 5 through 12, because even though Clara's in 12th at plus 259, with several games left to play, it's not an 8-game block, but you do a lot of damage in 3 games. It's been 9 200 games out of the 12 players competing through to complete. 9 out of 24. So no one really, except Missy Parkin, which at this point, that's to be expected. Danielle shot 249, 205. Jen Higgins, 216, 218, making a move. But games like that are now big games for what we're seeing so far here in this round of 12. Julia Bond had an opportunity right there to do exactly what we were just talking about. That was a chance at 240 potentially. 220 certainly wouldn't be bad, but now she's got to go ahead and make the 1-2-4-10. .192 for Deandra Asbeatty. D is going 184, 169, 192. Right now, 2 spots are for sure available in the stepladder finals. Open frame in the 10th for Bond. She shoots 207. Well, the big game that I was referring to. Was from Tashina, who shot 258. That's a big shot there for Steph J. Bill shot for Gongora. And Sandra leaves the 245. Again, Sorrell shot 258. And that's a big game, especially after shooting 159. But again, it obviously does wonders for her score, but again, the way everyone else is scoring right now, scoring pace really different than what we've seen in previous rounds. Anything can still happen for these final 2 spots. Again, after 26 games, Missy Parkins, Shayna Ung, Valerie Bercier, and Danielle McEwen. We'll have our latest score update here momentarily. Steph will get to 205. All right, game 4 will commence here momentarily. And we will be joined by one of our individuals who spends a lot of time on tour. Motive Ball rep Nathan Bohr will join us to chat a little bit about this pattern and just how difficult it has become, or was, I should say, and still is at this point, although it's yielded some scores early. But we see what's going on here in the round of 12, and it's quite the intriguing battle. So we'll talk to Nathan here in just a moment, here on Bowl TV. All right, game 4 is underway. We are joined now by Shayna Ung and Clara Guerrero on 29 and 30. And then we'll see Valerie Bercier and Danielle McEwen, who just made her way into the top 4 in the previous game. And as I mentioned, going to break, now joined by Nathan Bohr of Motive. Nathan, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. Appreciate you letting me sit in here right as things started to get interesting.
You have good timing. All right, so I'm curious. Obviously, you have had an eye on the pattern since the official practice session, just like always. And, you know, we always kind of get to a point generally where the pattern may look a little different than what we may have been accustomed to for a couple of days. I feel like this round is producing some lower scores than maybe most, or maybe we didn't anticipate. So what have you seen so far here in the round of 12?
In the round of 12, you get it's different because you're basically bowling on fresh for half the block. There's only 2 on a pair, and the players that are still left have a way that they've been attacking the lanes all week, and the way that these players especially have been attacking the lanes all week is from the left, and so that kind of cuts the belly out of the middle of the pattern. So you see it a lot on the guys' side. You start a little further left, you've got less hold, you've got less room to the right, and got to be a little more accurate and play a part of the lane that yes, that you're used to playing, but not with the same shape, not with the same balls, not with the same hand action. You just got to do things a little differently to be able to knock them down in this round. Just fewer bowlers in general.
Missy Parkin, still your leader at plus 789.
I think she's probably safe.
Yeah, I think so.
She's just going to have to roll one more game for this title.
Shayna Ung is still number 2 at plus 567. Valerie Bercier, third at plus 391. Stephanie Johnson back into the number. She is in 4th at plus 365. The big 258 game for Tashina Saraus now has her 5th at plus 346. McEwen shoots 181. She is down to 6th at plus 344. Julia Bond is 7th at plus 332. Giselle Poss 8th at plus 331. Deandra Asbeatty still in the mix at plus 273, as is Jen Higgins at plus 272. Sandra Gongora 11th at plus 268, and Clara Guerrero 12th at plus 234.
Yeah, I watched that.
Terrible break.
Yeah, right. just as you said that. I watched the last game down on 21 and 22 with Tashina and Giselle, and that was a much needed good pair, I guess, for both of them. They bowled 500 between the two of them after being 100 under the first two between the two of them. So that was it just made everything really interesting. I mean, you've got 4th through 8th now, separated by 34 pins. So this format seems to produce these kind of finishes, and looks like it's going to again this week.
Yeah, I talked about that a little bit earlier, where we've yet to get to have an event where every stepladder finals spot is kind of up for grabs. We've seen some instances where Shannon O'Keefe, for example, at the Twin Cities was the top seed, struggled a little bit in the round of 12, but riding the ship at the end of that block to maintain that top seed. But here, obviously Missy has been the best in the building
for sure
throughout the week.
Yeah, from about she was
Why is that,
from about game 5 on yesterday morning. She kept the pedal down, and that 299 in game 8 yesterday morning kind of solidified her spot, and she's just been asking them to come get her ever since, and nobody's been able to go get her.
Why do you think she's been so successful? What have you seen?
Well,
her?
when Missy strikes, when Missy's ball is knocking the pins down, it's hard to replicate, because her ball roll, her approach, her everything from her loft to the rotation to the ball she uses to the weight of the ball she uses, those are also unique, and so you'll see this every once in a while from Missy, where if she can get them to fall, and she can play angles that are straight enough, because when her ball tries to cover boards down lane, she doesn't strike very much. She's not able to control the pocket as well. But when her ball can kind of roll forward and be smooth down lane, she's hard to beat, because she can create carry that nobody else can. And we're really seeing that this week. We're seeing that with pretty much all of the top 12 players. I guess really the only two that are kind of outliers would be Shayna and Giselle. But the other 10, they all delay reaction very well, whether it's with a softer hand or a high tilt. But they all are taking advantage of the friction on the surface of this bowling center and using it to their advantage.
And the difference for Shayna and Giselle in that regard, in that comparison, what
yeah, well, they both have a lot lower tilt. Giselle, watching her, she crossed with Maria all day yesterday, so I got to watch her quite a bit. Her tilt at times is down. It is pointing down towards the towards the lane rather than up in the air like 90% of the rest of this field anyway. And she and Shayna both, they both have kind of that down tilt, which you see a lot on the men's tour right now. But the reason they were able to get away with it is because you had to keep the ball in front of you this week. You could hit the pocket by covering boards, but it was real hard to carry. So the more you could keep the ball in front of you, keep it on line, rather than asking it to hook a lot down lane, the better off you could be. So both Shayna and Giselle were able to do it with speed, and their rev rate, their speed is high enough and their rev rate is high enough that they were able to get the corners to go while keeping the tilt down, if that makes sense to anybody out there.
Joined in the booth by Nathan Bohr. So if you have a good old-fashioned technical question for Nathan, will be.
I think that was plenty technical. I don't know. We'll try and watch bowling for a little while. How about that?
Well, let me ask you this before we move.
Sure.
Subjects.
Sure.
The tilt down.
Yes.
Okay. If you could, let's say, break it down, or if you were teaching that and trying to describe it to, you're at a seminar and you said, okay, tilt up, tilt down, the difference. How would you?
The difference in how you achieve it,
yeah.
Or the difference? Honestly, a lot of it is natural physical ability.
Okay.
It is not an easy thing to change, and it's an even harder thing to master on both sides of it. So it would be pretty useless, honestly, to ask someone like Shayna to throw it like Missy. Maybe she could do it once or twice, but she wouldn't be able to repeat it very well, and two, she wouldn't be able to beat anybody doing that. So as far as teaching how to do both, I would see more value in figuring out how you can attack each lane with your own physical game, with your natural uniqueness. And uniqueness is really the key word.
Sure.
This week especially, but most weeks on tour, is how can what you do match up to what the lane is asking for, and can you beat anybody doing that? So like I said, everybody here this week is incredibly unique from many other players there, and they do it at a high level.
Nice spare conversion by Danielle McEwen, making the 1-2-4-10 on 32. That keeps her clean here this game. All right, final question about tilt.
Yeah.
How would you? What's the easiest way to recognize it? In that sense, you said, we're talking about Shayna, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So what would draw you to her particular ball reaction? Because it is different, certainly, than a lot of other players, I should say.
Well, you can really just you get an eye for seeing the ball right off the hand.
Right.
And so you want to try and pick it up before it gets to the arrows.
Okay.
If you're watching, you want to try and pick it up before it gets to the arrows, before the lane has too much effect on it. And just kind of draw a line. See how it's rotating around. How the ball is rotating around the axis on the lane, and which direction that axis is pointing. So if there's a great example is on this pair. So we'll watch Valerie on 32, her next first shot, and then if we can see. It's really hard to see Shayna unless she's making a ball change.
Sure.
It's hard to see Shayna's right now because it's a dark ball,
right.
But you can really tell with Valerie's ball where it's rotating and it looks like it's the axis really pointing up towards the ceiling. Not straight towards the ceiling, obviously, but towards the ceiling in general.
Okay.
With that vector. And then actually, this will be good to watch with Shayna here on 29. She's making a ball change. So this one should point closer, if not straight across, maybe even down towards the lane at some point. when she gets her tape the
Yeah,
right way.
and that's actually been something that Shayna's been having to deal with here this round. She's had to change some tape on her spare ball in game number 1. I've been there. We've all been
Right,
there, but
right.
certainly. But fit and feel is so important.
Been pretty lucky this week, actually. The weather has been nice and it's been consistent, so there hasn't been a whole lot of changes in humidity or temperature in the bowling center like we've dealt with for most of the season so far.
Here's Bercier up on 31.
Yeah. So take a look at her tilt if you can see it, and just see the vertical component to it. And then if you look over here at Shayna, you should be able to see it pointed down towards the lane. And so those are two totally different motions, and really you don't see both of these styles play well at the same time unless there's a lot of friction on the lane. If there's a lot of friction, if the lane surface gives you a lot of friction, then Shayna and Giselle, I guess, can kind of overpower it with their speed and their revs to get it to carry. And they can keep it online that way and still get it to hit. And then you've got someone like Valerie or Deandra or Missy, who the friction, it helps the ball to bleed off the energy throughout the entire lane rather than saving it all for down lane. And if that energy is all saved down lane, it's real hard to control the shape. And so with less friction on the lane, you would see more players with heavier roll in the top 12 rather than the higher tilt players such as, like I mentioned, Deandra or Missy.
Ball change for Danielle here in frame 7 as we get down to the end of game number 4. And a 2-4-5 there for Shayna Ung. Again, just to go over any scores, and appreciate everyone tuning in. If you are just joining us, welcome to Bowl TV. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Pleased to be joined right now by Nathan Bohr of Motive. Kind enough to chat a little bit.
At all. Not a whole lot of strikes this game. Jen Higgins looks like she's got the best game going, and on cue she washes out in the 10th. So
yeah, I feel this round is interesting.
Oh, that's really kind of kicking you when you're down there with Shayna. Fortunately, she's got plenty of pins on the. She's pretty much locked in with 3 to go. She's not going to catch Missy in the number 1, and she would need either a big score from somebody below her or just an utter collapse to fall out of the 2 seed. So not the worst position to be in for Shayna. Danielle still searching on 31 and 2, but keeping pace with Valerie. Nobody's really able to put anything together. There's one double on our featured pairs here through 8 frames. A lot of shots through the face, a lot of shots missing the head pin. Get as many as you can on the first shot and try and knock them down on the second at this point. So I guess, Emil, what seems to be happening now is that there's no shape in the pattern anymore. The place that the ladies decided to play, and rightfully so. I mean, that's where they were able to score for most of the week. Is incredibly flat right now. That part of the lane is incredibly flat. So you don't see anybody being able to be comfortable because they don't have any room to the right because there weren't any shots thrown out there. So all of that is still really fresh, and they don't have any room to the left because there's just no hold there. There's no extra oil to the left of them. So everybody right now is just fighting to hit the head pin and not split. And you see that in these scores.
Well, it certainly makes for an interesting finish.
Right.
Because, as I mentioned, Jen Higgins went 2-teen and moved up 3 or 4 spots.
Right.
And so what that allows for is now, obviously everyone was kind of still in play, and I say everyone meaning, you can go from 3 to 12 in all honesty, and, some mix of those players would have an opportunity at those last 2 spots for tonight's stepladder finals. But it makes it even more interesting when there's a lower scoring pace and one big game.
One big game can move you up quite a bit.
Up 2 to 3 spots.
And even if it doesn't move you up those spots, it can get you 80 pins closer to the number real quick. As evidenced by the fact that the number has it gone down since we started? I think it's gone down the first 3 games.
Yes.
4th place is less than it was when we started.
Great shot there from Clara. A clean game for Clara, but looking for double.
Clean game is gold right now. Yeah, I mean, you see that right there. Danielle's last shot got a couple boards further right down lane. It tickled out the 4-5-7, used the wall to get that half hit. So probably didn't want to risk. She knows she doesn't have any room right of there, so didn't want to risk getting it further right, leaving a 2-pin. You think the pattern's long enough that you can get it maybe 1 left of there, or square up your feet, but there's no extra push there. So as soon as that ball grabbed the mid lane, there was nothing to help keep it in the pocket. It just went right through the face and paid a big price. I didn't get the tap for Clara.
Pin for Corretto. Well, Shayna's going to be in, obviously, as you can see, in the 160s. 164 now to be exact. 183 for McEwen. Excellent shot there for Bercier on the 184.
That was her first strike on that lane.
Well, it has become all of a sudden a grind.
Right.
Here in this round of 12.
Which you wouldn't expect, looking at what the scores were this morning. The scores this morning were higher than they'd been most of the week. If I'm not mistaken, there were a few blocks well over 200 over.
I agree, and which is kind of makes this even more interesting in a sense. But every week, obviously, less bowlers, less players. Can the strategies change maybe a little?
Sure.
Where players start on the fresh.
Right, and this pattern, when you pull it up, when you look at it, and the way the balls have rolled on the lane, there's only really one place to play. You can't play right of 10. It's too flat out there. The shape was between 8 and 12, and so at the arrows, be between second and third arrow for a while and keep it in the track. Well, the players this afternoon, whether it was what they were seeing on the lane in practice or how they felt like their best chance to attack them was tonight, they didn't start it between second and third arrow. There were a lot of balls that went down the lane in that first game, 15 and left. And so if you look at the pattern between 15 and 15, it's completely flat. And so if you have to move left of there because you start to pick up early or starts to wiggle if you get it right, you're not moving into extra oil. You're moving into just to more back end and flatter conditions, which makes it tough, makes it really, really tough, especially when you're fighting for a show or a season changing win.
Sure, absolutely. We're now into game number 5. Nathan, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Can you grab that mouse right there?
Yeah.
Move one to your
One
right.
over.
Click.
Got it.
Amen.
Got it. I'm a producer now.
Yes, you are. You're hired.
I should get I get a credit on it now, right?
Yeah, we can get you in the
I like it.
what is it, IDMB?
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
IMDb?
IMDb, yeah.
We can do that.
Just expanding the resume.
Like, get you a job at this thing.
Mouse clicker guy.
So Danielle and Valerie move one pair to their left. And now Stephanie Johnson and Sandra Gongora. And Steph, as we await our most recent score update.
I have it updated on the scroll. Fourth place went down 20 more pins that game. 19, I guess. That is amazing, actually.
This is intriguing.
So that just brings, to your point, Emil, that brings so many players back into the number.
Yeah, this thing's far from being decided. Every week, obviously, it goes to the last game, and we should expect that, and it happens all the time. But, you know, sometimes there's only 3, 4, maybe 5 players who have a chance.
Sure. This will be pretty much everybody, right? Yeah, if anybody can find a way to bowl 480 or 490 the last two, even the 12th place bowler will have a good chance of making this show. That's an early double from Danielle. When they get like this and you get that early double, a lot of the times when you get an early double, you're thinking, all right, let's make it a 4 or 5 bagger and bowl 250 this game. But when they're like this and you get an early double, you're thinking, all right, I don't have to double anymore and I can still bowl 200.
Missy Parkin, again, still leading the way at plus 788, and at this point, that will not change. Again, it's, you know, something would have to be crazy to go down in that regard. Shayna Ung still, despite her struggles here this round, still in grand position to hang on to the number 2 seed at plus 531. Valerie Bercier is third at plus 375. Julia Bond now has entered the top 4 for the first time. She is fourth at plus 346.
By bowling 803, by bowling plus 3 tonight, this afternoon, which is just wild.
Stephanie Johnson 2 pins back now at plus 344. She is in fifth, just outside the number. Giselle Poss is right there at plus 328 and sixth. Danielle McEwen is seventh at plus 327. Tashina Sorouse is eighth at plus 313. Sandra Gongora still in the mix at plus 304. She just shot 236, and that's her high game so far of this round.
That'll move you up quickly, sure.
Jen Higgins at, again, 802 for her so far this round, is in 10th at plus 279. But even then, I mentioned the 216, 218, I think got to 7th or 8th. 161, 207, and 10th is not a bad place to be, and neither is 11th.
Oh, because she's still only 70 out, which is not out of the realm at all.
Oh,
There's a big break for Sandy.
Nicely done there from Gongora. A nice smile. She'll take it. Asbeatty 11th at plus 252, and Clara is 12th at plus 238. I will ask all of our good Bowl TV viewers in the chat, what are you seeing out there? What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to defy the odds potentially, and make their home tonight on the stepladder finals? There are 2 spots available.
Two spots available. Yep. And 10 bowlers.
10 bowlers
with a mathematical chance.
That is
a good shot from Valerie.
Very similar to my experiences in the San Francisco housing market.
Oof.
Not many spaces or spots homes available, and too many applicants.
Applicants, sure.
Again, Nathan Bohr joining me. Motive ball rep, man. And do you get a chance to compete every now and then?
Sure.
Right? You still do that every once in a while?
Every once in a while. That's a good way to put it. I was actually felt like a real bowler again this year. I was able to bowl most of the tour season, and I'm actually looking forward to finding a way to be able to do that again. Some this summer and definitely in January again. So I'm excited to try and be a bowler again.
Good. Nice. The old S4.
Yeah.
For Gondagora. I see a couple, or hear a couple of applause going out, some hand claps. Rouse has started with the front 4.
First 4. That's, man, that's not that far off for Valerie. The shot before just caught and tickled him out, and that one may have been one more board further right down lane, and just never picked up. Never got a chance to face the head pin, face the pocket. So clean through 4 for Danielle with a double is a great place to be at this point.
Gregory, thanks for checking in. I don't think Steph liked it. It held, and she'll take it. Greg, that's a great hashtag. It's the lanes are indeed.
That's a good look. That's a good spare for Valerie.
There for
it's the second or third one she's made in this block.
For Mercier. But yeah, Greg, you hit the nail right on the head in regards to how you would describe the lanes for this round. And it is indeed. It's so funny how, and really this round kind of teaches you a lot about bowling, in a sense, because if you've watched the entire tournament, you know that this is not what the players have experienced by any means. In fact, if you watch round 1, you would think that, everyone would be shooting 300 at this point. But as the pairs, or excuse me, the lane condition is continuously applied, and bowlers continue to adjust and think about lane play, and you guys are thinking about how to help your players get to where they need to get to, and their services and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
It all goes hand in hand, and you say, wow, how did we get to this point? And you really summed it up well. Is there's no shape in the pattern.
No, not where
where it previously was.
Right, because the shape was created by the other players on the lanes, and now there's nobody playing the lanes between first and second, or between second and third arrow even. And there wasn't, and so there's nothing to throw it to, and when there's nothing to throw it to, and you're in the flat part of the lane, they're just going to be hard, and you got to find something that you can be comfortable with, because the lane's not going to make you comfortable.
Back-to-back opens here for Gongora.
Yeah, 4 through the middle, and then the 6 straight off the 10. That's not a. They should give this one a little bit more room, and it just won't get around the corner and get the 10 out. So there, yeah, it's ugly as right.
Over on 27 and 28, Clara had a spare 4-bagger now with a 2-4-5 to deal with. Another tough spare for Bercier, but takes care of that. Like that was just pure textbook right
Like a
there.
professional.
Absolutely. I was taking notes on that one. Let's see. China Sorouse went 4-bagger, 9 spare. And Tashina, has some experience in moments like this. She made a show back in 2017. It was in Lincoln. And a very similar situation. The format was slightly different then. We had group step ladders, for example. But when you're here, this is your chance to make the top 4. It's your only chance.
Right. And you mentioned in Lincoln, that's where you said, right?
Yep.
It's where she made the show. The lane surface and what the lanes ask for and what the pins ask for there is very similar to here. So it's a shape that she's comfortable with.
Dan West is a nice gentleman. He
there's a
bothered to give Nathan a compliment as
thank you,
Bercier
Dan
strikes
West.
in the 6th.
Looking at the scores for the block, it's pretty clear that Missy is the class of the field. She's acting like Tiger Woods circa 2005 right now, running away from it, but she is 90 pins ahead of the next high block. 75 pins better than the second high block so far in this round.
Well, Shayna trying to get to the end here.
Yeah, that game 30 scroll can't come up soon enough for her.
She's holding on. Got a very nice, firm grip on that number 2 seed. But, again, as we always say, you never know. Things can happen. Excellent shot. Excellent shot there. You can tell what that shot meant. And now to get back to this right lane and try to get back to some success here. After leaving the 10 pin, again, they split in the 4th, 10 pin in the 6th.
So they're only 40 out of the number.
That's a great point, Mark. This is indeed kind of what.
It's a pretty good shot from Valerie. And the 5 or the 9 or whatever that was. Didn't quite touch it.
This is indeed what you would think, what the players.
It's a good shot from Steph.
And
got the 5 to go.
How about that? What was I saying? Sorry. Oh, yes. Yes, Mark. I think this is indeed what the players thought or would expect, anticipate the way the lanes are playing, as tough as they are playing in this round. It's how tough they've played and tougher in previous years at this event.
Oh, sure.
In this building.
It's a good shot from Sandra. Same result. So 2 frames ago on that lane in the 4th, she got it in the spot. It looked like she wanted to get it, and it goes 4 through the middle, and so makes a move, gives it a little bit room in the 6th and the 8th, and just doesn't do the right thing and go through the pins the right way. So Danielle, after another double, a really good shot for a ring 10. But 2 doubles and clean through 8 is a really good place right now when the scores are so low and chasing that 4th spot.
Yeah, D-Mac, again, right now 7th at plus 327. But just 19 pins out of the number. Talked about how she grabbed the final spot in the final game in the round of 12 at the Lincoln Open this year. And it could be, she could do it again, potentially.
Danielle?
Yeah. If she's not in the number after this game, and depending on what Stephanie Johnson finishes with here, big 8 frame, she got it right, a touch, and the old 5-8. there for Steph.
And it looks like, down on 21 and 2, it looks like Julia Bond has an open with no doubles and shooting a 310 now. And I don't believe she spared it. No. So Julia working on a 170 pace right now through 7. So that leaves that 4 spot wide open. And Valerie working on a 180 pace. So Danielle and Stephanie could both jump into the number after this game with the strong finish. Pretty good shot from Sandra. Ball just breaks loose on that lane. Wow. She has not bowled a bad game, and she is staring 170 right in the face. She's made maybe one marginal shot. The shot in the 4th frame. That she may have got a little overzealous trying to make it strike. But just not forgiving at all. 140 in the 9th with, like I said, maybe one marginal shot.
Oh, keeping a keen eye on Clara. With a spare and good count, Clara's going to get to 220. And that, at minimum, that would get her to plus 258. And yeah, obviously we'll see where 4th place is. So, yeah, with a game left, we could finally start to see just enough separation to where we can start to eliminate
at least a couple of players,
certain players
sure,
from potential advance. Nice shot again from Stephanie Johnson. So now Steph, best she can do is get into the 2 teens. Bercier again 3rd at plus 375.
It's a ball change for Valerie, something that gets around the corner a little bit better, and it did, but just a little late.
So now Bercier is going to lose a few pins no matter what happens here. That's the best she can do is shoot 193.
Right now she has almost 50 pins on Danielle. So it doesn't look like Danielle's going to be able to go around her on this game. Doesn't look like Stephanie will either. I guess Stephanie still could. And that one pretty much always strikes. Sandra's chance at the top 4 is probably done, and after working so hard that game and getting nothing for it, that ball just labeled and just ran over the 8 pin for the first time, really. That's another really good shot from Danielle.
Wow.
That's a really good game, though, for Danielle. Two-teen with a spare, clean. That's going to help her a lot heading into the last game.
Talking about keeping your angles in front, Steph
Right.
doing that to perfection.
Right.
And Danielle, that last shot, those of you who've watched Danielle, she doesn't show a lot of emotion. But that was
She
just
wanted that one,
pure
sure.
frustration, and she threw it amazing.
Look out. Oh, she got the 4 on that one.
That's a huge break there for her.
Two of her 3 strikes were trip 4s. Valerie this game.
Bill Williams Jr. with Nathan Moore. Here, so we have the remaining games here in the round of 12. 166 for Shayna Ong. She is walking off the approach, exhaling.
Just about
almost
17
like
or 18 more shots, and she can regroup and get ready for the show.
It's like a scene from Rocky. Just
right.
One more round.
It's a great shot from Steph.
We got one more, and I can relax just a touch. Big double there for Steph J. So Steph's going to be in the 2 teams.
It's going to be enough to get her around Julia. Not quite enough to go on Valerie with a nice double in the 10th. That is 193 at this stage feels so much better than 183. It's only 10 pins, but able to keep just at least a little momentum going with 193 instead of losing 15 or 20 more pins again.
How understated potentially might something like that be, where you just described it, you know, you work so hard that what the lanes are producing to double and to get to 190 as opposed to the 180.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure maybe we look at that in enough favorable light,
sure,
if you will.
Sure. No, a double for 190 is it gives me, when I'm playing, it gives me, especially when they're this hard, if you can double for 190 and when you're going into the 10th with a chance to double for 190, you've also got 150 or 160 still out there. So you're not ever thinking that, but if you bowl one if you double and get that 190, you've got a little bit more momentum going into the next game just because you didn't lose 20 more pins. You lost 7 or 8 or 6 or 3, which most of the time is about staying right where you are. So, well, because let's say that she doesn't get the trip 4 the first shot there,
sure.
Right? And she spares and then tries the ball on the fill and gets 7. That's not even 180. That's 179. And mentally, 179 compared to what she did shoot 192, those are night and day. And so when you got to play these little tricks in your game, in these little tricks in your mind, to keep you focused, keep you up when the scores are so low and the lanes are so hard. And that double in the 10th and taking advantage of that trip 4 was big. It kept her in that 3rd spot.
Nicely explained. So we'll have Giselle Poss and Tashina Sorouse. We'll have Missy Parkin and Jen Higgins. Game 6. The final game prior to the stepladder finals.
So the 3 pairs, it looks like, that are, I guess there's 4 pairs. You've got Valerie and Danielle on 23 and 24. You've got Stephanie on 25. You've got Julie on 27. And Tashina just bowled a good game, right, to get right back near the number again on 29 and 30. So the middle 4 pairs is where the action is, and we've got cameras on all of them, correct?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
All right.
All right, took a little bit, but players are where they need to be.
Yeah, it's like everybody decided to take a couple extra breaths before this last game.
Say they know what's up. Just give me a quick breather. Looks like Tashina, thanks Mark, they have shot 236. All right, Missy Parkin. This for Missy here will be simply, about, hey, let's continue to throw some good shots. Let's go into, this break in between the step ladder. It's feeling pretty good.
Right.
And
Missy could actually Missy could take the rest of the game off if she were so inclined, which I don't think she is. But haven't been in that situation very often. I bet it's nice. I bet it's nice to feel that position. Better start for Tashina.
Well, as we await our final update here, it'll be up just a second. If Sorrells did indeed shoot 236,
does that make her the number?
Then we will get a chance to kind of watch her figure this thing out potentially and earn a spot into the top 4.
Yeah, that gets her within 12 of the number. That 236 was right. Because the number right now is Steph at 361, is that correct? That's what the scroll has. I think that is Steph.
I don't remember what she should have been in the 2 teens, but I didn't see her final shot.
Yeah. Missy just rolling right along. Victory lap for this portion of the event. She'll have to prove it one more time to take home title number 2. Julia just off camera. It's her missing that washout.
Kathy is out grabbing some scores and making sure things are where they should be, which also means that we should have that update momentarily.
Very quickly. May have been some discrepancy, which is why it might be a little late.
It's also much easier to do when there's only 12 players.
Yes. I imagine that is the case.
Folks, are you interested in bowling on the PWBA Tour? I certainly hope you are. Perhaps you know someone who is interested. Don't forget, tell them to register now for one of our PWBA regional events. We have one tomorrow here at Double Decker Lanes. For more information on all of the different cities PWBA will be visiting, as well as the final regional events. There's 5 on Sundays. We've had 2. Again, our 3rd will be tomorrow. Head on over to pwba.com or pwba.com/regionals for all of your regional information.
I apologize there for trying to talk over you. I got excited.
It's okay.
I saw a strike and I got excited.
Next time I'll just let you have I'll let you read the read.
I'll do the read. All right.
I'll give you the card.
I do like the sound of my own voice.
Missy out at the front 4, as you mentioned. Now, who struck? Was it Jen?
No, it was Tashina. Okay. And the scoring monitor doesn't believe it either. So waiting on that.
It's like a pin in the old corner.
Pin in the corner. Yep. Unique to the AMF machines. That one getting caught in the upper corner. Valerie has an early double down on 23 and 24. Spare and a double. Danielle has 2 spares and a strike, one of those spares being a 5 count. Stephanie Johnson with a double as well.
Some good support here for Missy this week.
Absolutely. I heard the crowd going wild for her earlier this week, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we actually get into her hometown, into Southern California in a couple of weeks. Be a lot of Missy Parkin fans there, I'm sure.
There were certainly the last couple of years. Fountain Valley, that is 2 weeks away, as Julia Bond off camera, leaving a 2-4-10. Julia has been in this position before in Lincoln, as a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, where she was really in the top 4 for the majority of the round, and then the final 2 games fell out of the top 4 and missed the stepladder finals. This week she's been kind of making the climb up the leaderboard and trying to solidify a spot. She will need a big game, though. Nice spare there for Julia.
That is a big spare. Actually, you're not really expecting that. Good one there from Giselle. She's grabbed a ball that's a little bit smoother than the one that she was using earlier. I think earlier she was using a Rodman Pearl for a little while. This one looks like a Web Tour that just reads the mid lane a little bit smoother and doesn't make such a violent move at the end of the pattern. With a good shot off camera for a ring 10. Danielle caught a double down there, and Valerie has a double, no opens through 5 frames.
All right, folks, your score update. Again, Missy, we'll skip right on over for the sake of it.
Missy and Shayna both.
Shayna is still good to go. Again, she struggled getting to the finish line here, but she'll be okay for that number 2 seed. Valerie Bercier is third at plus 367. 6 pin separates Stephanie Johnson, who is fourth, at plus 361. Tashina Sorouse, fifth, at plus 349. Wow. McEwen is sixth at plus 340. Open for Sorouse there in the 4th frame. Giselle Poss is eighth at plus 310. Jen Higgins is 9th at plus 267. Gongora is 10th at plus 263. Guerrero 11th at plus 258. And Deandra Asbeatty is 12th at plus 253.
So really what we have here is, unless Julia or Giselle can throw about 4 or 5 in a row, we have, looks like 4 bowlers for 2 spots. It's kind of how it's starting to shake out now. As I say that, that's 3 in a row for Giselle, so she could really be a wild card here. She's really the only one that looks like she has the firepower or the look to bowl 240 or 250 and get into this cut. Valerie 2-4-10s on lane 24. Danielle is shooting a 4-7. They both have a double with no opens so far through 5 frames. Shiny lucky to get the 7 out of the 7-10.
Game 6, final game of the round of 12.
It was a much better shot for Julia just off camera on that right lane that's given her trouble so far. The 6 didn't quite nudge the 10 out. You can just see lane 24 on the screen. Valerie is shooting the 2-4-10 and cut the 2 right in front of the 10.
House, former Maryland Eastern Shore Hawk, first team All-American, the National 10-Pin Coaches Association. Haas and other standouts. Collegiately at Vanderbilt, All-American as well. All right, Steph J with a 2.45. She is in the 7th frame. At the moment, looks like that pair with Steph and Sandra may finish first, aside from what we see here on 31 and 32.
Danielle up on 24, excuse me, Emil. Through the face, but breaks it out for a 3-6.
Pause.
Oh, it's another one that's a 4-bagger. That is really going to have, this could get exciting really quick here. Because right now that puts her in the 2 teens and nobody else. Oh, Steph just chopped the 2-4 off the 5. Nobody else is pacing more than 2-0. Another couple of strikes for Giselle, and she can take the lead this game. She can be in the driver's seat for the last spot.
So Stephanie can max out at 227. Valerie Bercier.
237.
Okay.
Can max out. Danielle at 230. She lost a lot of count early, so she has 120 in the 6th.
That one did not go certainly the way Jen wanted it, but I want to congratulate her on a fantastic week, especially
Absolutely.
considering what she has gone through in the basically almost not all of 2019, but most of the months here, especially prior to the season with kidney infection, hospitalization, and antibiotics, and then pulling a muscle, having to withdraw in Cleveland, and to get back to this point, it's not easy.
No, and she's looked better and better every week. Had gotten her legs under her more, gotten her a little bit of strength back. She's I'm happy to see that as well. She looked like just a shell of herself in Cleveland, and happy to see her in just a month later bowling well.
Off camera, Steph struck in the 8th.
Danielle through the face again with a 6-10, so she's lost enough count that she's only in the 190s now. Valerie with a chance to double here. She did. Giselle, that's a little in, but it smoothed out, and
Wow.
Wow, that is huge. May not be anything anybody else can do about Giselle. Julie with a ball change, but another flat 10 on that lane.
Victory lap here. Well, not yet. A lap. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to jinx anything. A nice lap around the park.
High flush for Steph.
Parking. Steph J with a huge double. Steph is on, what's that, 27, 25, 23. She's on 25 and 26 for those of you who may want to check that out on Bowl TV.
Valerie through the face off camera down there on 23. 3, 6, 9, 10. So loses count on the double as well. Which puts her, it's a tough spare, and she's lost the count. Danielle needs at least a strike. That's a really good shot there. Danielle probably needs another one. Probably needs a strike in the 10th. At least one strike in the 10th. Especially with Giselle on a 5-bagger here now. Which might as well be a 15-bagger.
Yeah, they've been hard to come by, without a question.
Ah, nice spare from Valerie. Valerie can strike out for 213. Danielle for 218.
Nicely done again by Missy Parkin. She will be your #1 seed for tonight's stepladder finals. Oh, a late kick on the 10. At the same time, Stephanie Johnson throws the first one in the 10th.
I think that's going to lock Steph. It's her and the 2 teens. Danielle did not get that to go. Danielle is going to be short. It doesn't quite lock her in. Valerie has destiny in her hands right now. If she doubles, Stephanie will need the second one. It's a good one there. That's a big shot for Steph here.
It's on 25 and 26.
This to make the show.
Wow, high flush.
Nice. That was nice. The way I have it now, it comes down to Valerie and Giselle. Well, this for Valerie to lock out Giselle by one. Well, this one, she needs this one. Not quite.
Stephanie Johnson shoots 227.
Really good shot for Giselle.
Well, it's getting interesting. Well, it's been interesting, actually, but now.
So Valerie with a spare. It's 203. 203, which puts her at 370. Giselle with a double in the 10th will put her in the 370s. So Giselle will need a double and keep it on the lane to make the show with an improbable 260 game.
Wow. Well, here's the moment. Again, Stephanie Johnson shoots 227. Officially at plus 388. She's going to be the #3 seed. Valerie Bercier is in the books at plus 370. Poss needs a double. If she maxes out, that's 269, and that would put her at plus 379. But needs a double here. Or I should say the first two in the 10th. First shot.
Oh, it just didn't catch. That was really a pretty good shot. I thought that was pretty good, Emil.
2 pin left for Poss, and Valerie Bercier is going to be on the show. She's going to make her first national PWBA stepladder final. She made the regional stepladder at the first event of the season in Cleveland. Poss had been in situations like this before. She doubled back in 2017 in St. Petersburg against Clara in a group stepladder final to make or advance to the televised finals. That looked like a pretty good shot, as you said, and looked like a very similar bowling ball that she used towards the end of the last block. It's only, I said it earlier, that I believe in the next 3 to 5 years, and it could be sooner certainly, but Giselle Poss will be one, and she's already an extremely good player.
Right.
I think she will be one of the best players on tour.
Yeah, she when I was mentioning her and Shayna with their speed and their rev rate, nobody else matches Giselle's speed with her rev rate. So that puts her in exclusive company anyway. And so when she can control the pocket, when she can hit the pocket, and she can carry, she's going to be hard to beat, because for the same reason that Missy's hard to beat. She does things that other people can't do. I was actually just having that discussion with Maria about how much I think Giselle has improved. And as her swing gets closer and closer to her ankle at the bottom, which it has already done a lot, she's just going to get better and better, be able to compete week to week.
Introduce to you your top 4 for the PWBA.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that.
We're going to start with our number
2 seasons ago. I always forget about that. U.S. Women's Open, 2017. As a non-member for Valerie Bercier, now a member and making a stepladder final.
The winner of that match will go on to face our number 2 qualifier from Singapore, Shayna Ong. And the winner of that match will then face our
there was so much movement.
Woodland Hills, California, Missy Parkin.
So much movement in that 4th spot. The entire block.
Finals of the 2019 PWBA Sonoma County Open. How about one more big round of applause for all of our competitors? On behalf of the entire PWBA staff, thank you all very much for coming out today and for all your support of the PWBA Tour. Make sure to return to watch the exciting conclusion of our PWBA Sonoma County Open right here at 5:30. At this time, we're going to ask all of our spectators to please move to the low end of the center, all the way to the end past lanes 20, as we get set up for
early thoughts here, Nathan, before we get set up for the stepladder final. Missy Parkin, Shayna Ung, Stephanie Johnson, Valerie Bercier. Extremely talented players, obviously. But what stands out, you think, in this foursome we have here?
Well, a couple things. Let me ask, what pair is the TV pair? Is it
27 and 20.
27 and 28. Okay. Well, there are 3 players with the high tilt that I was speaking of: Missy, Stephanie, and Valerie, and then you've got Shayna. So Shayna is going to be interesting to watch. If she can carve out a little something and have a better look to the pocket than she did in this block, her speed and rev rate is going to be an advantage. But that being said, Missy getting to come in after 2 games have already been on the pair with the reaction and the natural matchup that she has this week, she's going to be really hard to beat. And I think she ended up leading by over 300 pins, and so whenever that happens, it's a little bit of a shame if that person doesn't win the tournament.
Sure.
But she's put in a heck of an effort so far, and I would say she has to be the favorite on the TV show.
Want to thank you for stopping by. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun here, and appreciate your insights for our Bold TV viewers.
Thank you. Just make sure and let me do the reads next time.
I got you. I got you. Want to thank Brandon Howden, Curtis Von Kruger, Terry Bigham, and our tournament staff, of course, including our Director of Operations, USBC